Have you ever wondered if just 5 minutes each morning could truly change the course of your life? It sounds almost too simple to be true, doesn't it? But the truth is, many of us wake up every day feeling stiff, tired, or a little off balance, and we brush it off as just part of getting older. I know because I've been there too, those mornings when getting out of bed felt like a chore, and the idea of starting a new routine seemed overwhelming. But here's the good news. You don't need complicated exercises or expensive supplements to feel stronger and more energized. There's a gentle, easy-to-follow way to start your day that can help you stay independent and sharp for years to come. It's a simple 5-minute routine that dozens of seniors have used to boost their health naturally. No gimmicks, no pressure. What makes this routine special isn't just what you do, but when you do it, the very moment you wake up. These small but powerful habits quietly support your heart, brain, muscles, and joints, helping you live life on your terms. So, what's the very first thing you do after opening your eyes in the morning? I'd love to hear your story. Remember, you deserve to live well and age gracefully. And sometimes, the smallest changes make the biggest difference. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. Now, let's begin. 1. Warm lemon water, 1 minute after waking. It's funny how the smallest moments can shape the rest of our day, isn't it? There's something quietly sacred about those first few minutes after waking. The hush before the world rushes in, the way morning light filters through the curtains, the familiar sounds of birdsong or a distant neighbor's car. For years, I used to breeze right past this moment, eyes half open, my thoughts already racing toward a to-do list or worrying about some ache or pain that had crept in overnight. Like so many people, I believed that the morning began with my first cup of coffee, or whatever hurried breakfast I could manage before moving on with the day. But as the years went by, I started to notice something that both surprised and unsettled me. It wasn't just the little aches or the way my knees would groan when I stood up. No, it was the way I felt inside. Heavy, foggy, sometimes anxious for no clear reason. My doctor called it just getting older, and I nodded, pretending to accept it. But deep down, I couldn't help but wonder if there was something more to it. I missed the days when I woke up with energy, a sense of purpose, and clear thoughts. Was there a secret to feeling good in the morning that I had overlooked? One morning, while chatting with a friend over the phone, she mentioned a habit she'd picked up from her mother. A simple glass of warm water with a squeeze of fresh lemon, right after waking up. She claimed it changed everything. Fewer headaches, a clearer mind, even a lighter step. I chuckled at first. How could something so small make a real difference? After all, wasn't coffee the true elixir of American mornings? Still, I was curious. That evening, I set a glass and a lemon wedge on my kitchen counter, promising myself I'd give it a try. When I woke the next day, before I could talk myself out of it, I shuffled into the kitchen and poured some warm water, watching the steam rise gently as I squeezed in the lemon. The scent was clean, bright, and unexpectedly comforting. I took a slow sip, expecting nothing. Yet as I finished the glass, I realized how thirsty I was, how parched my body felt after a long night's rest. My usual stiffness seemed a bit less, and the heaviness in my head started to lift, just a little. What I didn't realize then, but would soon come to understand, was how much my body truly needed that first drink of the day. We often forget, especially as we get older, how much water we lose overnight, simply by breathing and through our skin. It's easy to miss, but by the time the sun rises, we're already running at a deficit. Our blood is a little thicker, our heart has to work harder, and our brain is just beginning to stir. For older adults, even mild dehydration can mean the difference between a steady step and a dangerous fall, between a clear mind and the morning fog that sometimes lingers all day. Doctors and researchers now understand that this hidden dehydration, especially for those of us over 65, is no small thing. It can trigger spikes in blood pressure, raise the risk of heart attacks or strokes, and silently stress the very organs that work hardest for us, like the liver, which spends all night clearing toxins, only to be left high and dry by morning. That simple glass of warm water is not just a refreshment. It's an act of kindness to your entire body. It signals, "I'm here and I'm listening." But why lemon? That's the question I asked myself, and the answer, it turns out, is just as simple as the ritual itself. Lemons are rich in vitamin C and potassium, two nutrients our bodies crave after hours without food or drink. More importantly, the natural electrolytes in lemon juice help balance our fluids and support the gentle expansion of our blood vessels, easing the strain on the heart. For anyone managing high blood pressure or worried about cardiovascular health, which, let's face it, is just about all of us as we age, this is no small thing. There's also something quietly wonderful about the way citrus compounds from the lemon support joint health. They stimulate collagen production, helping to keep joints supple and skin resilient. As I learned more about this, I realized that the little changes, the kind that feels almost insignificant at first, are often the ones that build the strongest foundation for our well-being. It's not about chasing youth, but about nurturing the body you have right now, honoring all that it's carried you through. For me, the proof was in the practice. The more I stuck with this morning habit, the more I began to notice subtle shifts. My digestion was smoother. The stiffness in my fingers eased. I was less likely to feel lightheaded when I stood up. My heart seemed steadier, my thoughts a little brighter. I started to look forward to those few minutes of stillness each morning, sipping my lemon water and breathing deeply before the day officially began. Sometimes, I'd take my glass outside, sitting on the porch to listen to the world waking up around me. On other days, I'd simply linger in the kitchen, sunlight streaming in as I finished the last sip. What mattered most wasn't the place, but the intention, the promise to myself that before I did anything for anyone else, I would do this small thing for my health. I soon discovered I wasn't alone. Friends and neighbors, folks I'd known for years, shared stories of how this simple habit made their mornings better too. One neighbor, Mary, told me she'd started after a minor stroke left her shaken and scared. Her doctor suggested warm lemon water to ease her blood pressure and support her liver. Within weeks, Mary noticed her hands were less stiff, her mornings less foggy, and her mood brighter. She called it her daily renewal, a way to gently reset after each night. As word spread through our little community, more and more people joined in, each with their reasons. Better sleep, fewer headaches, steadier balance, or just a deeper sense of connection to their bodies. We laughed about how such an old-fashioned remedy could feel almost radical in today's world of pills and potions. But that's the beauty of it. It's so easy, so natural, so quietly powerful. Science backs this up, too. According to experts at the Cleveland Clinic and the National Institute on Aging, the risk of heart attacks and strokes is highest in the first 2 hours after waking, right when the body is most dehydrated. That simple act of drinking warm lemon water before coffee, before breakfast, can tip the balance back in your favor, protecting your heart and waking up your mind in the gentlest way. And here's the secret most people miss. It's not just about what you drink, but when you drink it. Later in the day, lemon water is still nice, but it doesn't have the same effect. Your body needs this boost the very moment you rise, when your systems are resetting and searching for equilibrium. This is when you're most open to positive change, when a small act can ripple through your entire day, making you steadier, sharper, and more in control. I think of this ritual as a quiet rebellion against the idea that aging must mean decline. It's a statement that I am still here, still learning, still caring for myself in ways that matter. There is dignity and hope in these moments, a gentle defiance against fear or resignation. I know now that health isn't always about grand gestures or expensive solutions. Sometimes, it's found in the smallest routines, repeated with love and attention. If you've never tried this, I invite you to start tomorrow morning. Before you reach for your phone, before you turn on the news, walk to the kitchen and pour yourself a glass of warm water. Slice a quarter of a lemon and let its fragrance wake you up from the inside out. Take a deep breath and drink slowly, feeling the way your body receives this simple gift. Let it be a reminder that you are worth caring for and that even the most ordinary moments can become extraordinary when done with purpose. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Over time, you may notice what I did. The world feels a little lighter, your steps a little more sure. You'll move through the day with a clearer mind and a steadier heart, knowing you began by giving yourself exactly what you needed. And if you ever find yourself doubting whether such a small habit can truly matter, remember this. Health is built not in leaps, but in steady, loving steps. Sometimes, the best medicine is simply remembering to listen to what your body has been quietly asking for all along. Tomorrow is waiting. And with a simple glass of warm lemon water, you just might find a new way to greet it, with gratitude, energy, and hope for all the days to come. 2. Circulation reset, 1 minute after that. It's remarkable how much of our day is shaped in the quiet moments just after we open our eyes. So often, we think of health in terms of what we eat, how far we walk, or how many pills we remember to take. But for years, I overlooked what happens in those fragile, half-awake minutes between the safety of my bed and the start of the day. It wasn't until I started paying closer attention, truly listening to my body and noticing what felt off, that I realized just how important those first movements were. Let me be honest. Like so many others, I used to swing my legs off the bed, stand up a little too quickly, and shuffle straight toward the coffee pot, sometimes still half dreaming. Occasionally, my world would tilt just a little, and I'd have to pause, gripping the edge of the counter as a wave of dizziness washed over me. "Oh, that's just age," I would mutter. But deep down, it scared me. I'd heard stories, friends who fell in the bathroom, neighbors who ended up in the ER after a dizzy spell in the kitchen. Still, I figured as long as I kept moving, everything would be fine. But one morning, I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror. There was a look of uncertainty there, a hesitation I didn't recognize from my younger days. That's when it dawned on me, my body wasn't just slower, it was asking for something different. It wasn't laziness or weakness. It was biology, plain and simple. You see, as we get older, our blood flow slows during sleep. Our hearts take a break. Our muscles, especially in our legs, don't pump quite the way they used to. When we're young, we leap out of bed and our bodies catch up. But after 65, that sudden change from lying still for hours to standing up fast is a shock to the system. Our brains might be eager for coffee, but our circulation needs a little more patience and care. Doctors have a name for it, orthostatic hypotension, which is just a fancy way of saying your blood pressure drops suddenly when you stand up. The result? That quick rush of dizziness, maybe even a fall. Researchers at Johns Hopkins have found that the first hour after waking is when older adults are most at risk for falls and fainting. It's not just clumsiness or bad luck. It's our bodies calling out for a gentle transition from rest to action. I learned all this the hard way after a close call in my bathroom. One morning, I rose too quickly, took 2 steps, and the room spun. I managed to steady myself, my heart pounding. That afternoon, my daughter called, and I confessed what had happened. "Dad," she said, worry in her voice, "promise me you'll take it slower from now on." She'd heard about a simple morning sequence from her physical therapist. Movements designed not to stretch or strain, but to activate the muscles and kickstart circulation. So, I decided to try it. And to my surprise, it took less than a minute. 60 seconds that quietly change everything about my mornings. Now, after my warm lemon water, I stand with my feet shoulder-width apart in the middle of my bedroom, feeling the carpet beneath my toes. I take a long, slow breath in through my nose and raise my arms gently overhead. The air feels cool and crisp, and for a moment, I can almost remember what it was like to be a kid, stretching after a summer nap. I lower my arms as I exhale, noticing the way my chest opens, and the gentle rise and fall of my shoulders. Next, I roll my shoulders backward, slowly, deliberately, 5 times, then forward again. The movement is simple but purposeful. I can feel the knots loosening, tension slipping away. There's no rush, no competition. This isn't about exercise. It's about waking up my body from the inside out. Then, I stand tall, lifting my heels off the floor and balancing on my toes for a moment before lowering back down, repeating this 10 times. It's such a small thing, but each lift sends a signal through my calves, a gentle reminder to the blood in my feet. Time to move upward, time to nourish the brain. These motions are more than stretches. They're signals. Each one tells my body that it's time to switch gears, to move from the safety of sleep into the adventure of the day ahead. Doctors call this muscle pumping. As the calf muscles contract, they push blood from the legs back toward the heart and up to the brain. It's an elegant system, but like so many things, it needs a little help as we age. That help is what these movements offer. What surprised me most, though, was how quickly I began to feel a difference. Within days, the grogginess I'd carried into the kitchen started to fade. The fog in my head lifted. My balance improved. Instead of dreading that first step, I found myself looking forward to the simple routine. There was a new sense of intention to my mornings, a calm readiness, a quiet confidence. And it wasn't just me. My friend James, he's a year older than I am, used to skip his mornings altogether. "What's the point?" he'd say, plopping into his recliner for the news before breakfast. But after a scary fall in the shower, his physical therapist insisted he try the circulation reset routine. Now he swears by it. "I feel like I start my day on purpose, not by accident," he laughs. For both of us, those first 60 seconds are no longer wasted. They're the foundation for the hours to come. It's easy to underestimate the impact of such a simple ritual. After all, we live in a world that tells us big results require big changes. But for those of us with a few more years under our belts, we know the truth. The biggest changes often begin with the smallest, quietest actions. There's a science to this, too. When you activate your muscles first thing in the morning, you do more than just clear your head. You stimulate your lymphatic system, the body's natural cleanup crew that filters out toxins, waste, and even cancer cells. Unlike your bloodstream, which has the heart to keep it moving, your lymph system relies entirely on movement. Without it, things stagnate. With it, you're giving your body a fighting chance. These gentle motions also protect against something even scarier than morning dizziness: the risk of losing your independence. One fall can change everything. I've seen it happen to friends. One slip, one tumble, and suddenly their world shrinks. A walker, a move to assisted living, the loss of confidence. It's heartbreaking, and often, it's preventable. That's why I wish someone had told me about circulation resets years ago. Why didn't my doctor mention this? Why isn't it common sense, part of every morning ritual, just like brushing your teeth? Maybe because it seems so ordinary, so obvious. But as I've learned, the ordinary is often what matters most. Now, when I speak to others in my community, I share my story with a mix of humility and pride. I tell them, take it slow. Honor the transition from night to day. Your body is wise, but it needs your help. I encourage them to pause for just 1 minute. 60 seconds, which could mean the difference between a steady walk to the kitchen and a dangerous stumble. If you're reading this and still skeptical, I understand. I was, too. But I promise you, there is a world of strength and stability waiting in those first simple movements. No gym is required. No fancy equipment. Just your own body, your breath, and the quiet courage to try something new. Maybe you'll find, as I did, that those first gentle stretches bring with them a sense of control you thought was lost. Maybe you'll notice your heart beating a little stronger, your balance a little more, and your mornings a little brighter. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find yourself looking in the mirror one morning and seeing not uncertainty, but a kind of quiet determination, the sort that comes from honoring your body, no matter your age. So tomorrow, when you wake up, before you reach for the coffee or the news or the worries of the day, give yourself 1 minute. Stand tall. Breathe deep. Move gently. These 60 seconds are your secret weapon, your first act of self-care, your promise to yourself that today, you're choosing strength and stability. One simple step at a time. 3. Protein intake. Within the first 30 minutes after waking. When it comes to breakfast, I used to think it didn't matter much what I ate, as long as I ate something. A piece of toast here, a bowl of cereal there. Maybe a banana or, more often, just a quick cup of coffee as I started my day. It's the way I'd done things for years, even decades, and I never questioned it. It wasn't until I began to feel weaker in the mornings, struggling to get moving, that I realized something wasn't right. I chalked it up to age at first, just another unwelcome visitor in this season of life. But, as it turned out, my body wasn't giving up. It was just asking for something I'd forgotten how to give it. For many of us, mornings can feel like a slow climb up a hill that gets a little steeper with each passing year. The legs that once hopped out of bed now hesitate at the edge. Shoulders that once carried grandkids or groceries now feel heavy, stiff, and reluctant. There's a kind of quiet fatigue that seeps into the muscles, a feeling that no amount of coffee seems to shake. I started noticing these changes after my 65th birthday. Little things at first, but they grew. Some days, even a walk around the block left me winded and frustrated. I worried about losing the strength that had always been my silent source of confidence. I remember a particular morning when I tried to reach for a box on the top shelf in the pantry and just couldn't quite lift it. It wasn't the weight, it was the way my arms trembled, the lack of energy in my core. That moment stuck with me. A sign, I thought, that I was truly getting old. But then, at a routine checkup, my doctor brought up something I'd never really considered. Muscle loss isn't inevitable. It's often preventable if you know how to work with your body instead of against it. That's when she started talking about protein, and more importantly, about timing. Not just any breakfast, and not just any time, but protein within the first 30 minutes after waking. She explained that, as we get older, our bodies become less efficient at using the protein we eat. We need more protein, not less, and we need it earlier in the day when our bodies are primed to rebuild and recover after a night of fasting. At first, I was skeptical. Could eating a little differently in the morning make such a difference? But the science was clear. As we sleep, our bodies enter a natural fasting state. To keep all our essential functions running, we use up stored energy and, if there isn't enough readily available, our bodies start breaking down muscle for fuel. This process, called catabolism, hits older adults especially hard. Over time, if we don't replenish with the right nutrients, we lose not just fat, but precious muscle mass, one of the most important keys to staying strong, steady, and independent. The research from the National Institute on Aging was even more surprising. Older adults who consistently eat 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein within 30 minutes of waking up are far less likely to experience rapid muscle loss. Their balance improves, their strength holds steady, and even their metabolism and immune system benefit. Suddenly, I could see why that weak feeling in my arms, the fatigue in my legs, had crept in so quietly. My old habits weren't serving me anymore, and I needed to learn new ones. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Changing my breakfast routine was easier than I expected. I started small. Some mornings, it was a simple whey protein shake, a scoop in a glass of milk, blended with a banana and a sprinkle of cinnamon. On other days, I'd boil a couple of eggs the night before and have them ready to go, maybe with a dollop of Greek yogurt and a handful of walnuts. There were even mornings when I'd enjoy a slice of whole grain toast spread with cottage cheese and a few slices of tomato, or scrambled tofu with peppers if I wanted something savory. At first, it felt like a small experiment, almost like an act of curiosity. But within a week, I started noticing subtle changes. My mornings felt smoother. The muscle aches weren't quite as sharp, and my energy didn't plummet by mid-morning the way it used to. I no longer felt so shaky before lunch, and that stubborn brain fog seemed to lift. I even found myself standing taller. My posture improved, almost without me noticing. The benefits went beyond my muscles, too. I learned that early protein helps regulate blood sugar, reducing the spikes and crashes that used to leave me feeling drained. It also supports healthy hormones and better focus, and helps keep weight in check, a blessing for anyone, but especially for those managing insulin resistance or hoping to avoid extra pounds creeping on. Every morning, I felt like I was making a promise to my body. Today, we rebuild. Today, we get stronger. One story that still inspires me is from my friend Carla, who lives a few streets away. She used to skip breakfast altogether, convinced it didn't matter until a bout of dizziness sent her to the doctor. He recommended she start her day with protein, nothing fancy, just a smoothie or some eggs. She was reluctant at first, but the change was almost immediate. Within a month, she was back to gardening, playing with her grandkids, and even taking dance classes at the community center. The difference, she said, was like stepping out of a fog and into the sun. It's amazing how a small shift can have such a profound effect. Our generation grew up in a time when breakfast was often sweet, starchy, or sometimes skipped entirely. But the truth is, as we age, the old rules change. The body we have now is different from the one we had at 40 or 50, and it needs to be nourished with respect. Giving ourselves enough protein early in the day is a way of honoring the years behind us, and making sure there are more strong, independent years ahead. I know the word protein can sound intimidating, especially if you've never counted grams or worried about nutrition labels. But it doesn't have to be complicated. A scoop of plain Greek yogurt, a boiled egg, a handful of nuts, a piece of grilled chicken, or a bowl of cottage cheese, all these can be part of a nourishing morning meal. The key isn't perfection or some strict diet. It's the act of choosing foods that help your body rebuild, rather than break down. If you're vegetarian, there are plenty of options too. Tofu, tempeh, lentils, or plant-based protein powders can fit easily into your routine. If you're worried about your appetite in the morning, you're not alone. Some days, I still don't feel hungry when I wake up. On those mornings, I keep it light, a small smoothie, maybe, or half an egg with a slice of fruit. It's not about force-feeding yourself, but about sending your body the right signals. Even a little bit of protein, consumed consistently, can make a world of difference over time. I sometimes think of this habit as a message to my future self, a way of saying, I'm still here. I still care. The best part? It's something anyone can do, no matter where you live, what your schedule looks like, or how busy life gets. You don't need a nutritionist or a chef, just a willingness to try something new and a little patience to let your body show you the results. Looking back now, I wish I'd known this secret years ago. I wish someone had told me that breakfast wasn't just a meal. It was an opportunity, a fresh start every day, a chance to invest in the strength and steadiness I want to carry with me as I age. If you're reading this and feeling hesitant, I get it. Old habits are hard to change, and new routines can seem daunting. But trust me, your future self will thank you. So tomorrow, before the rest of the world wakes up, give yourself the gift of a real breakfast, a breakfast that honors all you've accomplished and all the years still ahead. With every bite, you're rebuilding not just your muscles, but your confidence, your independence, and your joy for life. And isn't that what this journey is all about? 4. Joint mobility exercises, 90 seconds. As the years quietly add up, one of the most common complaints I hear from friends and neighbors is about stiffness. It's not just a minor nuisance, it's a stubborn, daily reminder that our bodies are changing. Many mornings, I've woken up feeling as if I had slept through a blizzard, limbs frozen and reluctant to move. I know I'm not alone in this. The ache in the knees, the tightness in the shoulders, the creaks in the hips, these are the little signals our joints send us, begging for attention, reminding us that they need care. But here's the thing, joint stiffness isn't just part of getting old. It's the result of the fluid that cushions our joints thickening up after a long night of stillness. When we lie down for hours, our synovial fluid, the natural lubricant in our joints, doesn't circulate as freely. That means our knees, hips, and spine start the day less prepared for movement, leading to that uncomfortable, sometimes painful, stiffness. Left unchecked, this can lead to long-term problems like arthritis or even increase the risk of falls, which, as many of us know, can be devastating. I remember the mornings when getting out of bed felt like pushing through wet cement. My knees locked up, my lower back protested every bend, and I'd find myself dreading the day before it even began. It was exhausting. My daughter noticed and gently suggested I try something simple before breakfast, just a short joint mobility routine. I was skeptical. 90 seconds. Could that make a difference? But I was willing to try anything that promised relief without the hassle of medications or complicated exercises. So, I started with just that, 90 seconds each morning dedicated solely to moving my joints gently, waking them up with intention. The routine was straightforward. Sitting at the edge of my bed, I began rotating each ankle 10 times clockwise, then 10 times counterclockwise. It felt odd at first, like shaking off cobwebs I didn't know were there. Next, I moved on to slow circles with each knee, careful not to push too hard. Then, standing up and holding onto the dresser for balance, I leaned gently from side to side, feeling the stretch through my hips. Finally, I twisted my upper body slowly from side to side and rolled my shoulders backward, breathing deeply. It wasn't stretching in the traditional sense, and I certainly wasn't aiming for flexibility or speed. Instead, I was warming my joints, lubricating them with movement, preparing them to carry me through the day. Every morning, those simple motions told my body, I'm here. I'm ready to support you. Within days, the change was undeniable. The stiffness began to melt away, replaced by a gentle ease I hadn't felt in years. It was like tuning an old instrument before playing a beloved song. Without that warm-up, everything felt off. With it, I moved with more confidence and less pain. What amazed me most was how this short routine didn't just affect my body. The Mayo Clinic explains that warming up the synovial fluid in our joints reduces friction and pressure, helping prevent arthritis and joint degeneration. But it also helps our mood. Movement releases endorphins, the body's natural feel-good chemicals, which ease the anxiety and sluggishness I often carried into my mornings. Those 90 seconds became a sacred ritual, setting the tone for a positive, calm day. Barbara, a dear friend in Spokane, shared a similar story. For years, she dreaded mornings, describing the sensation as moving through wet cement. Her knees locked, and she felt trapped in a body that no longer responded like it used to. Encouraged by her daughter, Barbara began the 90-second joint routine. A few days in, she noticed her pain easing. After weeks, she stopped needing her cane for short walks. The freedom she regained brought tears to her eyes. This isn't just about avoiding pain or preventing falls. It's about reclaiming your independence. Every joint you care for, every minute you spend moving intentionally, builds resilience. It helps you bend to tie your shoes without pulling your back, climb stairs without hesitation, and carry groceries without wincing. It's about living your life on your terms, not dictated by aches or fears. I've learned that daily stiffness isn't a harmless inconvenience. It's a warning sign. Ignoring it can lead to serious injury or permanent damage. But treating your joints with care, even for just a minute and a half each morning, can change your trajectory. It's not about grand workouts or pushing through pain. It's about respect, patience, and consistency. If you've ever thought, I'm too old for this, I want to gently challenge that thought. Age is a number, not a sentence. Your body remembers how to move. It just needs a little coaxing and a little kindness. These 90 seconds aren't just exercises, They're acts of love for yourself. Imagine waking up one morning with less stiffness, more confidence, and a spring in your step. Picture yourself walking through your day with ease, knowing you've taken a simple but powerful step toward protecting your joints and your freedom. That's what these daily movements can do. So, tomorrow morning, before you reach for the phone or start your usual routine, take a moment for yourself. Sit at the edge of your bed and gently rotate your ankles. Move your knees in slow circles. Stand and sway side to side. Twist your torso and roll your shoulders. Breathe deeply and listen to your body's response. It's just 90 seconds, a small investment with a big return. Your joints will thank you. Your mood will lift. And with time, you'll find that the stiffness, the pain, and the fear of falling become memories rather than daily struggles. You deserve mornings filled with freedom, strength, and hope. This simple ritual is a gift you can give yourself every day, one gentle movement at a time. 5. Reverse memory recall. Wake up your brain. Aging doesn't have to mean losing your memories or feeling like your mind is slipping away. Yet, for many of us, the mornings sometimes arrive with a frustrating fog, difficulty remembering names, forgetting why we walked into a room, or struggling to recall simple details from the day before. I remember those moments well. The little frustrations pile up quietly until they start to weigh on your confidence, your mood, and even your sense of independence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I used to worry about these signs. I'd find myself rereading a sentence 3 times, losing track of conversations, or misplacing things around the house. At first, I brushed it off as normal aging, something to accept with a sigh. But deep inside, I feared it was the beginning of something much worse. I wasn't ready to lose the sharpness that had carried me through decades of life, raising a family, working hard, and building a world of memories. One day, a friend shared a simple morning habit she'd started, something called reverse memory recall. It sounded almost too simple, sitting quietly and mentally retracing the previous day's events, but backward, from evening to morning. I was skeptical at first. Could such a small, easy exercise help keep my brain sharp? But I was willing to try anything that promised a chance to hold on to my memories and my clarity a little longer. The practice is gentle and private. Each morning, after hydrating and gently moving my body, I take a seat in my favorite chair, close my eyes, and breathe deeply. I start by thinking about last night, what I ate for dinner, who I spoke to, what I saw on TV. Then, slowly, I move backward through the day. What did I do in the afternoon? Who did I hear from? What did I feel as the day unfolded? Finally, I reached the moment I woke up, the sound of the alarm, the first sight when I opened my eyes. It's not about getting every detail exactly right. It's about the act of trying, the intention to remember, to connect the dots in reverse. And the results were remarkable. Within a few weeks, I noticed something strange. My mind felt clearer, not just during the exercise but throughout the day. I could recall names, appointments, and where I left my keys with less effort. More importantly, I felt a renewed sense of control, a feeling that my brain was still active, still growing. Science backs this up. Researchers at Stanford Center for Brain Longevity have found that this kind of memory exercise stimulates the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for storing and retrieving memories. It promotes the release of a protein called BDNF, often described as fertilizer for the brain, which helps grow new neurons and strengthen connections between existing ones. This is powerful stuff, especially for those of us who want a slow cognitive decline naturally. What's even more interesting is that this mental exercise works best when done after the body is fully awake, after you've hydrated, moved gently, and warmed up your joints. When your brain is freshly oxygenated, your neurons are ready, your focus is sharper, and the benefits last longer. It's as if your brain is primed to soak up the benefits, like a sponge ready to absorb water. Eugene, a 71-year-old friend from Colorado, shared his story with me. He'd started to notice the early signs of forgetfulness: missed appointments, lost track of conversations, names slipping away. He was scared but hesitant to admit it. After hearing about reverse memory recall, he gave it a try. 3 weeks later, he told me he felt like a new man. His recall improved not only during the exercise but throughout the day. He remembered details he hadn't for months and felt more confident and in control. This simple routine costs nothing and can be done anywhere. No apps, no puzzles, no hours of training required. Just a quiet moment and a little intention. It's a gentle reminder to your brain that it's still learning, still adapting, still alive. For me, the biggest gift has been the peace of mind it brings. The knowledge that I can actively participate in keeping my mind sharp, that I'm not a passive passenger on this journey of aging. Each morning, as I breathe deeply and walk backward through my memories, I feel connected to my past and hopeful for my future. If you're struggling with forgetfulness or just want to keep your mind agile, I encourage you to try reverse memory recall. Take a few minutes after you've started your day, after your warm lemon water and gentle stretches, and give your brain the wake-up call it deserves. Walk yourself through yesterday, step by step, backward but with purpose. You deserve to start each day with clarity and confidence, to remember the stories that make you who you are, and to hold on to the independence that comes with a sharp mind. Aging well isn't about fighting time. It's about working with your brain, honoring its resilience, and nurturing its growth, one memory at a time. Tomorrow morning, when you sit down quietly and close your eyes, try it. You might just find that your memories come back into focus, and with them, a renewed sense of control, purpose, and joy in the life you've built. As the day winds down and you reflect on the small choices you made this morning, remember that aging well isn't about racing against time or chasing impossible ideals. It's about honoring the life you have, nurturing your body and mind with kindness, and embracing each new day as an opportunity. Those 5 minutes you spent waking your body and your brain, drinking that warm lemon water, gently moving your muscles, nourishing yourself with protein, caring for your joints, and recalling your memories in reverse, aren't just habits. They're acts of love and respect for yourself. I know it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the changes that come with age, but what I hope you take away is this: the power to influence your health lies within you. You don't need complicated routines or expensive treatments. You need awareness, intention, and a little patience. By choosing to start each morning with these simple, proven steps, you're investing in years of clarity, strength, and independence. You deserve to live your golden years with confidence and joy, free from the fear of losing your mobility or memory. Every day is a chance to step into a wiser, more vibrant version of yourself. So, as you prepare to greet tomorrow, remember that the smallest actions can lead to the greatest transformations. Your journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning. Take heart, keep moving forward, and know that you are worth every moment of care you give yourself.